Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about why I keep sponge filters and why I think you should too. First, let's talk about how sponge filters work. Sponge filters come in multiple designs. The main two designs are the regular / corner sponge filter and the dual sponge filter. Both of these need an air pump in order to work. The air pump transfers air to the sponge filter via airline tubing. This air gets pushed into the water and then releases back to the surface of the water. This is what the bubbles are for. When the air gets pushed back to the surface, it causes a suction effect, pulling water up with it, and this is what filters the water. The sponge filter itself may not look dirty, but as water passes through, detritus and microbacteria make contact with the sponge and generally stick to it until disturbed. Because bacteria is sucked into the sponge is considered a area for beneficial bacteria to live on. The first reason why I own sponge filters is because they are really cheap. Multiple sizes and designs are sold for a good price, and on top of that, multiple sponge filters can be connected to a single air pump via an air valve, hence using multiple filters for a lower cost. This is effective if you want to have multiple tanks. The second reason is because sponge filters are safe for baby fish and shrimp fry. Because the sponge filter is a low flow filter, it does not push fish fry across tanks like an intake or external filter would. Sponge filters can also save the lives of many fish and shrimp fries. Unlike intake or external filters, sponge filters don't intake a large amount of water, stopping fry from being trapped and killed in them. So if you want to have a high number of survival in fish and shrimp fry, I and others will recommend you to have a sponge filter. Sponge filters can also hold some microbacteria which both shrimps and fry can eat. The third reason is that sponge filters are great for most community fish. As sponge filters are low flow and carry lots of beneficial bacteria, they can positively benefit community tanks. Sponge filters are also great for fish with long or big tails such as betta fish and guppies, as stronger flows will negatively affect these beautiful fish. But sponge filters may not be as strong as other filters, so you may want to take that into consideration. The fourth reason is that sponge filters are incredibly simple. Sponge filters are relatively easy to set up and still do an excellent job at filtering aquariums. They are also easy to clean, as all you need to do is squeeze the sponge in a bucket of old tank water in order to remove the detritus. Make sure it is cleaned in tank water and not tap water in order to preserve the beneficial bacteria. There are also many videos on YouTube explaining how to set up sponge filters. The fifth reason is cycling. This can be done with all filters because all filters carry a bit of beneficial bacteria, but sponge filters are more beneficial due to having a larger sponge capable of collecting more beneficial bacteria. They can quite easily speed up the cycling process for other tanks. I would recommend if you need to cycle a new tank, you should put 2 sponge filters in one tank and then after a week or two, place one into the new tank. With dual sponge filters, I usually just swap one sponge of each filter, meaning that at least one sponge on each filter has beneficial bacteria, and then the other side can build up bacteria after that. Now let's go over 2 consequences of having sponge filters. This may not apply to everyone, but I know it does apply to some people, so I might as well go over them. The first consequence is that you will need a larger sponge or a stronger air pump in order to have adequate filtration in a fish tank. Each one of these will increase in price as it becomes bigger or stronger. The second is that depending on the air pump you use, it can be quite noisy. My sister's tank uses an eBay USB air pump, which means it's really quiet. But I use a Marina air pump, so it has decent volume, yet I don't mind it. If you need a filter for a large or multiple tanks, the required air pump may be louder as it uses more power to function. As you can see in this clip, I had my old micro USB pump connected to 4 tanks, and this was not strong enough, so after I got my new Marina air pump, that really made everything flow a lot better. The third reason is that sometimes sponge filters just may not be aesthetically pleasing to some people. Because you have to put it in the tank, some people might see it as annoying or like an eyesore because, well, I don't know how to describe it, because to me it looks perfectly fine. I like the look of it. but I can see how if you like have an aquascape, it can ruin it. But yeah, that's just personal preference. Therefore, sponge filters are a cost-effective filter for smaller aquariums and breeding setups, which is why I use them and why I recommend them to anyone else who is interested in getting an aquarium or anyone who already has one. Hi everyone, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you found this video helpful on sponge filters. I definitely recommend them to anyone who wants to use them or if you're breeding anything. As you can see in this clip, I have some feeder guppies which I'm going to be making a video on soon. But that's pretty much all for today. I hope to see you all in the future. Bye.